Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Get ready for another high vibrational show. My guest today is Merissa Indigo, and she is one of the inspiring and reason for hope being on our planet as the younger generation steps forward to way show and to share the expansion of consciousness as she sees it. She is an ascension worker and a grid worker and connected to the higher realms and certainly doing her service work on this planet at this time. Merissa, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Loren. Aloha, everyone. Sending big love.
This is interesting. We're connecting in with Master Healer, Mother Mary. We can already feel these energies. You yourself are an embellishment or a carrier of Mother Mary frequencies. We can tell just by your aura and your look and your posture and everything. So we are excited for our talk today. And it's been an interesting time since you were last here on Quantum Conversations. I always like to catch up with the energetics of how you are feeling about them and flowing with them. And you were sharing before we started here that since this 1111 gateway last year, that there's been palpable shifts and changes. How is it going for you?
Beautiful. And I would say it's an equal intensity of the duality so that we can come into the center. So a lot of us are experiencing, a lot that we're seeing that is rough and challenging to the ego aspect, and then the most beautiful, magnificent divinity. So we're seeing both to come into the center. So it is intense. And the self-care piece is vital, which is why we're so excited to share this, this topic today. And yeah, but it's all amazing. It's just, how are we perceiving it? What lens are we using? What is the presence in our experience with what arises, right? And then from there, going deeper.
Yes, to really be patient with ourselves and to remember the source energy that we are in the face of all of it, and not to get so tangled up in it. For me, it feels like it's a constant reminder of the vibration that we're putting out, and how our reality is quickly mirroring this and bringing to us what it is, what that vibration is. And so again, as we come to center, do you think we'll ever get to a place where it's more stable, where we're going to be anchored in more consistently?
Oh, yes. And it's dependent upon our own stabilization. And that's what brought me into all of these teachings with the Divine Feminine and Sophia and Mary and Mother Gaia, is that we are the stabilizing factor. We must claim that. So the invitation from Gaia has been so strong for everyone to deeply connect with her and to feel her holding us. As an emanation of Divine Mother, we are held. All we have to do is remember. So it's always the game of remember to remember, which can be challenging, of course, when we're just, a lot of programming is arising for all of us. But yes, the opportunity for stabilization is in every now moment. Just remembering to claim that and to anchor and to connect and to feel it. And then, oh yeah, okay, I'm back. We could use these phrases like the eye of the storm, or in the middle of the infinity loop, in the center of the center of the center. That's a mantra I'll use sometimes when I got to come back in, because we'll get pulled out. It's just the way that everything works. We're always getting pulled out with our senses and our observations and things like that. So I would say a hearty yes, and it is within each of our capacity to claim.
Yeah, so happy claiming it, everyone. Yeah. Absolutely happy remembrance of this love that we are, this source light that we are, and to maybe not take things so seriously as well.
And
Yeah.
have the compassion. So when we forget, have the compassion. And Kuan Yin has come in as a guardian ally for us for this year, because we are in the year of the water rabbit. And it's a real water year for us, where we haven't really had water for a few years, like a real watery divine feminine flowing, a lot of emotion, a lot of tears flowing. And Kuan Yin is here, and she just is always here to anoint us with her flowing waters of compassion, to have the deepest wells of compassion we have ever felt for ourselves and for one another.
Yes. Really, to forgive ourselves as well.
Yes.
When we do forget, to be in that center. Yeah, beautiful. So this topic today is very interesting. Here it is with Master Healer Mother Mary, and we're talking about activating our next level of healing abilities for ourselves and for others. And so what's interesting is that this clearing process, it seems like we're always clearing. And so how does this next level of healing ability come in as we're clearing? Does it come in after we're clearing as a byproduct?
It's all connected. So there's so many layers of what we are holding in our individual Akash, right, in our DNA. So we want to think about all of our Terran or earthly existences through the matrilineal lineage and the paternal lineage, all going all the way back to star family. So when we endeavor to commit to clearing some of these with these very ancient systems, we have really done the work. Right now we're in this period of, yes, it is very intense, but for those that are willing to do the work, great reward, great clarity, because we're all crystals. So essentially we're kind of just step by step wiping away the grime or the veils, whatever verbiage you want to use, of who we authentically are without the victim stories, essentially, right? Without the separation stories. And the stories are important for us to awaken. And these are archetypal forces of where we have experienced distortion, right? Victimization, all these things. So this system that we're talking about with Mother Mary as kind of the epitome of what this is, of rebirthing ourselves as divine Christed beings. It's just such an amazing opportunity. This is going through our family, our earth family, the genetics, particularly the matrilineal lines through the mother. And what this does is it actually starts to clear for our entire bloodline, going all the way back and all the way forward. So it's very powerful to do this practice, whether we are men or women, for everyone in our lineage. And when we commit to these kinds of practices, the protocol for the mother gazing that we're going to talk about in depth in the Mastery Empowerment course is a 21 to 41 day protocol where you say a mantra 108 times a day. And after that, there is so much palpable shift. Like my voice changed, like the frequency of my voice changed, a lot cleared out. So you're in a new space. It's really phenomenal. Yeah, there's so much to say about it.
Wow. Yeah. Share more about this. I guess one question would be, how would we know about our bloodlines? How would we know that something is ancestral and it needs to be healed or cleared?
Essentially, what are we experiencing? Because each of us came here to clear. That was part of the incarnation, is to clear any separation. So we signed up for the biggest virtual reality simulation game of consciousness and sacred remembering by coming into form and having human experiences through our family. Everyone has stuff in their family, right? Nothing's perfect. So our triggers, our habits, conditioned response, belief systems, right? All entrainment from early childhood. So we could look at patterns. For me, the easiest way to navigate, because everything's so massive in the quantum, is through patterns. So emotional patterns, where we give our power away. What are our beliefs about worthiness, sacredness, holiness? Do we hold beliefs that we are separate? That's the biggest illusion of them all, is that we're not even connected, right? So a lot of ways, essentially, like, how deep is your peace, you know? How do you feel about your mother? That's the big one. How do you feel about your mother? How do you feel about your father? Where is there distortion or discrepancy that is difficult to forgive? Mm. And then that's where we begin with this practice. It's all about forgiveness. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And so let's talk about the heart space when we go through trauma or heartbreak. We tend to put up walls around our heart. And so this is important because Mother Mary is here to help us clear that. How can we invoke Mother Mary on this process? What's the protocol there?
Well, I would love to offer an activation to connect with her right now.
Oh, that sounds really wonderful. Let's do it.
All right, beautiful. All right, so I invite everyone to close your eyes and start to breathe in through the nose and out through softly parted lips. A few breaths here, in through the nose, eyes closed, out through softly parted lips, and begin to take your consciousness down into the heart center, feeling yourself fully arrive from the skin in the body. Continuing to breathe, taking your focus down, down, down into the center of the heart. And we're going to do what I call opening the gate, the garden gate of our heart stargate. So with your focus, breathing, being at the center of your heart, see a beautiful gate to a garden, and it is ajar. And you can kind of peer over the top of this gate, and maybe there's ivy all over it, but you can see through a beautiful garden. And it's the golden afternoon in this garden where everything is kind of illuminated in a soft gold, Christed gold. And you begin to push open the gate and walk through into the garden. And there you see many of the Christed masters. There are butterflies, there are birds singing, all kinds of vibrant, beautiful flowers. And it's like a mystery school garden. So you enter and sit down on the bench with Mother Mary. And she places her arms around you and also is holding you almost like a child form. In your adult form, you find that you're sitting on her lap and her arms are enfolded around you. And you see her beautiful mantle of soft blue and white and her robes, and they too are wrapped around you. And the invitation here is to settle into the softness, to open the heart in this garden, to feel her. And you can feel the stillness that comes, the depth that comes. There may be tears because the love is so profound. And I invite you to just breathe and stay in this space. And when you come back with us and open your eyes, let your gaze be soft. And then we will continue. Good job, everyone. You can feel the shift.
Yes, we can feel the shift. And we have so much support right now with this. Absolutely have a lot of support from all the beings. And it's endless. And so when you connect with your guides, share with us who some of those guides are. I know we're talking about Mother Mary, of course, but there's a whole world and they're all aspects of us too, right? And this helps others recognize their guides as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have what we call the rose circle, which came through when we initiated in this incarnation, the oracle work and reawakening all of those connections to the oracle priestess kind of work. So we have Mother Mary, Mother Isis, the Sophia Seraphim, which are a very high order. They're like wings of holy fire of the divine feminine energy. Saint Joan of Arc, very important for us, all of us right now, to be in our courage and to know that we were made for this. That's literally her banner I was made for this, knowing that we are of God. We never left, we just forgot. Archangel Michael, the blue ray. So really it's a lot about the blue ray. Bringing in the priestess of the rose, the lineages of the rose, those sisterhoods, a lot of Lemurian connection. So then we go into star family. So behind me, we have the gold lion, the lions of Lyra or Lyra, the Syrians. And they're here. You can always call on the Syrians to support you when your emotions are really kind of challenging you and maybe taking over. They can really support us to focus because they're not as emotional. They're very practical. The Arcturians for healing. They really are so wonderful for energetic healing, and they've showed us how to create light chambers for healing. So you can create etheric med beds. We are so powerful in our imagination, opening the heart and being in the imagination. And Gaia is the number one teacher for me my whole life since I was little. That's how I was able to stay on the planet for a long time until things started to become more accessible, going through the veils that were they're pretty brutal. We all had a lot of brutal boots on the ground activations, right, to stay here. And of course, Kuan Yin with the reminder that being human is one of the hardest things any being could sign up for. And that's where that compassion comes in. So we don't give our power to the experience, but we acknowledge how challenging it is for us to migrate our consciousness, right, from a programmed and a linear construct to a quantum one, which is a feeling way. And meanwhile, right now, what's going on, the magnetics are continuing to dissolve all structures, all of this stuff going on. And so the mind still wants to try to reach and calculate and think the way it used to, and it doesn't work. So this is a big deal that what we're in right now is a collective. So just honoring that, and that we are equipped. And when we don't feel like we are, ask for help. Reach out to your archangels and the angels and the Christed masters. For me, the elemental embodiment is really, really vital too, working with the elements. And so working with fire to clear is a daily practice right now. As so much emotion comes up, as so much witnessing and memories, and remember when that happened to me, and like we're pulling our power back from like millions of little shards, maybe sometimes feels like on a daily basis. So it's a grind sometimes, but it's also, we have so much access. It's really amazing. So at least there's reward for the commitment of this,
Yes, so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Hmm.
And so you mentioned that you use fire to clear. Can you share with us what you do there? What is that protocol?
Absolutely. So in many shamanic traditions, and then in the Vedic tradition from ancient India and Tibet with the rishis, they work with fire. So fire is also a solar aspect, so it's a great way to connect with the sun and our solar consciousness too, especially if you're in a place like me where it's still winter and there's a lot of gray. But you light a candle, or if you have a fire pit or a fireplace, great. But candles are great for a daily ritual. And it's a devotional practice. So you light the candle, and the name of the fire god, which is also a solar deity, is called the Agni, sacred Agni. It's the same fire that comes through our eyes to digest information. It's the same fire that works with our digestion to digest food. So it's a powerful multi-dimensional fire. So you light that candle and you sit with that fire, and I'll call in the divine, say, okay, all right, guys, I need your help. I'm asking you to support me. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm going to feel it right now with you while I claim all of these, like frustration, whatever it is, and then make an offering to the divine, to the flame, and ask the flame to come and just help you support clearing the aura. It burns all of that density, the distortion, the negativity, the distraction out of the aura, out of the heart. And I will invite the flame. I'll say, please support me, purify my mind and my thoughts, purify my tongue, my mouth, my words, purify my throat and what I'm expressing, right? Purify my body, right? Because there's a lot going on, and with everything, the solar activity, just so much energy, feeling the other collectives. It's very supportive to continue to clear, to use the fire to clear. And it's like becoming the diamond consciousness again. It helps us to restore back to that diamond mind with Father, Mother, God, in that Trinity where we're a part of it. So those are some wonderful ways to work with fire. Yes, it will change your whole life. And if you're living in a collective of individuals, maybe you're living in a multi-generational family unit, or, your family, like where everyone's on different planes in this experience, having candles burn supports them on another level, clearing too, even if they're not yet in the same languaging as us or the same path. So fire can support clearing the environment, whether it's the home, the city you're in. It's very powerful to pray with and to ask it to support us in coming into greater clarity. So when I light that candle, I'll say, I'm calling in the sacred Agni. I'm calling in the threefold flame. I'm calling in clarity and discernment, just calling in whatever it is that would make you feel like you're most empowered, clear seeing. Very simple, very, very quiet and still. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. That is such a good reminder for those of us who may have forgotten the power of the fire and the multidimensional fire. I just want to say that word because it's like water is multidimensional. We're multidimensional. And so I love that practice, and to even have that candle in our space, clearing and helping our family, our extended family, without them even knowing it. That's beautiful. But then to think that we can use those tools, I'm getting goosebumps right now, to clear the emotions. It's the etheric fire as well that can clear those emotions. All right, we are made for this. Thank you. Yeah, we are made for this. So, all right, we are going to cover, I first want to say that you're going to do an advanced class, a master class, a mastery empowerment course on the teachings of the Holy Womb Chakra. But let's talk a little bit about the Holy Womb Chakra. What is it and why should we care?
It's so fascinating. It's so amazing. And so this is showing the holographic nature of our existence, where the whole process of how we incarnate on the planet is through the mother, through the womb, which is essentially a microcosmic version of Divine Mother, Cosmic Mother, Mother Mary. And so it's starting to connect the dots again of our divinity, and seeing how there are so many examples in our myths, in our literature, even when there's distortions, there's still a lot of encodement there for us to activate. So the Holy Womb Chakra gives each and every one of us the opportunity to reclaim our divinity, to practice forgiveness of our mother, and honor that there is great divinity in the human experience, even in what we would classify or label as the negative, the traumatic experiences. Well, everything led to the expansion to bring us into this now, right? To give us the wisdom, the experience, the compassion. Everything's about teaching. Everything is about learning through contrast. Everything is an activation. So when we can start to neutralize and embrace our birth mother as Divine Mother with all of her flaws, we're starting to bring everything into unity. There is no longer a flaw. It is divine perfection. It's all according to the divine plan of what was necessary to get us to this point right now. And then we start to connect our mother with Divine Mother, which then supports us in connecting to Divine Mother ourselves. That's the biggest barrier. So it's just incredible how the divine set all of this up, because that's a really big piece for a lot of us, the ancestral clearing, right? So that's the premise of what this is giving us access to, because we have macrocosmic versions of the womb and the Holy Womb Chakra, like galactic center. That's the great cosmic womb, or sometimes we say the cervix of Divine Mother. All of this incredible information just pouring down, all the light right now pouring down on us too. It also has to do with the solar logos. It's just incredible the way this hologram works. So the Holy Womb Chakra is an etheric point on the body, and women have it in the womb, and then the etheric point called the Nada Bindu, which is that diamond point, the Nada Bindu. And men also have the Nada Bindu, and it's kind of belly button, navel area. And for all of us, men and women, it is an etheric connection both to our birth mother and the entire lineage of the matrilineal line going to first separation from source. So whenever our first earthly or material incarnation was, it is just incredible. So it's not only the matrilineal of the human or Terran incarnational cycles, It also goes into galactic, and it also goes into the cosmic mother herself. Yeah, it's incredible. So there are steps. It is that the holy womb chakra system is massive. I am certified to teach the mother gazing, which is what we're working with, which is step 1, which is working with healing our wounds with the mother, so that we can connect and become divine mother. Whether we are a man or a woman, everyone has Heavenly Father, cosmic mother within them. It's part of how we are made. Yeah, so that's the first piece. And then there are greater steps, that you can take as well if you want to go really advanced. And I share those steps of how to do that. So I'd love to share a little history on this system, because it's fascinating.
Yes, and as you prepare to share that history, I just want to offer that, wow, okay, you've really helped explain it, how it boils down to what's the relationship with our own birth mother.
Yes.
My son is adopted, and so I think, I want to cry right now.
Yeah.
Because even though he's adopted, I'm his mother. He has a birth mother, and he doesn't, he'll be 22. He doesn't have an interest in her. And this is, okay, he's an example of the pain that we have for our mothers. In my own experience, I call my mom, she's no longer on the planet, but I called her the last of the unliberated women, where she did give her power away. And so it's very healing in the aspect of just coming in to own that connection with the mother, our birth mom, our extended moms on the planet, Gaia herself. And I know many of us who are watching have a deep connection with Gaia, but the connection with our own mothers and the forgiveness, and I can feel Kuan Yin right now, just beaming us with so much compassion and love to get over that. But that really is wonderful and very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And the reason it's one of the hardest things for all of us is indicative of what lies beyond. Unity. I mean, it's phenomenal. And I will share that I had a very tumultuous childhood. My mother also was a very unliberated woman, as was her mother. They didn't even know how to be mothers. So I went through a lot, but I also took that experience to be a conscious mother to my own child, right? And so when I found this practice a few years ago, I was like, OMG, this is the next level, and yeah, it's such an incredible practice. So the invitation here, this is kind of a symbol of where we have these really kind of confronting realizations, information, and then we feel the resistance to that. And so this is part of the becoming the diamond soul that we are, clarifying that, releasing, honoring the wounded child and honoring that the mother was a wounded child. This is a chain of pain. We get to end it. So this is where we bring in the golden armor, the golden lions of Saint Joan of Arc, and really, become the warriors for our lineage, for humanity. There are so many mastery teachers, like even the Dalai Lama said that, the golden age is going to come through the divine feminine. And many talked about the womb healing and this whole thing about the womb healing. And it's just incredible. So thank you so much for sharing that, Loren. It's very beautiful and vulnerable, and it is indicative of the schism that we all agreed to participate in coming here, and just how powerful and empowering this is to align us with our divinity, to get us right online. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now share that history. We'd love to hear it. Okay.
Wow. So this is incredible. So, and I have a lot more in depth on this with little books that I put together for you all, like when we do the course, which is the 16th of next week. So 7,000 years ago, there was a council of rishis called the Septa Rishis, the 7 rishis. In mythology, it is purported that perhaps they were the husbands or the divine counterparts of the star mothers from the Pleiades, the 7 sisters. Technology at that time was very different because everyone was in the Satya Yuga. Everyone was one with their divinity. And so things operated a lot more differently. And we had divine birth as a way of, creating children through the women, through the divine mother would create divine children like Mother Mary did with Yeshua. So it was like almost like a Telosian society. Things were very different, the way that they operated, compared to what we've been used to the last couple thousand years. So this technology of the Holy Womb Chakra was written in and kept in history on these palm leaf manuscripts. And after the crucifixion of Yeshua, when the Dark Ages started to become, so we were moving into the next epoch of totally swinging away from unity, right? Going so dark and so deep. And this is what we're wrapping up right now. That's why it's so intense right now. When that happened, the Septarishis and the councils were like, OMG, the darkness is coming. This is the most powerful technology, light body technology in the universe. We must bury this for now until the next time for the next wheel of the golden age. So they hid the palm leaf manuscripts for thousands of years. And then there was a rishi, I can't remember his name, it's in the literature for us, that prophesies that there would be a man who would be born in the 20th century of divine birth, and he would bring the teachings to the West because society was ready. They were ready to take their power back. And his name was Sri Kaleshwar. And so the story is he was born of divine birth of his mother, like Mary and Yeshua. And he was an avatar. And he knew where to go. And as a teenager, he would go into the jungles of India and, Source would call him and he would just go and sit in the jungle, in this wild environment. And then a sage would just come by and be like, here you go, and give him one of the palm leaf manuscripts. So he always knew where to go. And it's amazing because it's like you can see when you look at images of them, it's like a light language. There's sacred geometrics involved. In the yogic tradition, we have mantra, which is where we are becoming the instrument, which we are. But it's an instrument of using sacred sound. So Sanskrit and Hebrew are the two oldest languages on the planet. And they're both light languages. They're very pure connections of expansion to cosmic energies. So we work with mantra in this system, and we also work with yantra, which is sacred images. So we're all familiar with mandala, different things, sacred imagery, sacred geometry, what they can do for us. So a yantra is where you're looking at the picture and it becomes like multidimensional, and you're going, you're in this exalted space, and it becomes kind of a portal, a rabbit hole that you're going down. So it's really incredible. So he brought these teachings to the West in 1997, and he founded the Divine Mother Lineage Center in Laytonville, California. And then at 33, he ascended. I believe that was, I want to say 2012, but again, I'm not in the linear space, so forgive me, but it's all in the information details for you guys upon enrollment. But yeah, so he just came down, he beamed down. He's like, I'm going to drop this for you all. Just incredible connection. And then I'm done. And then the system is here. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Similar to Jesus. Well, not taken off the planet as Jesus was, but 33, that same age.
Yeah.
I am not familiar with that story of Sri Kaleshwar.
Yeah.
Kuleshwar.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Well, we're excited for the teachings then in the masterclass that you've got for us coming up. We'll go more into that class and what it will be about, but I want to get to anything else that you wanted to share about the lineage. And there's a question here. This question is from Aaron. Aaron asks, can lineages be cleared when they are not directly in your DNA line? Like, what about step families or adoptive families that you may have spent significant time with in your life?
That's a wonderful question. And I would say yes, because they're in our soul group. There's a soul migration happening, to bring these patterns or these, whatever the archetypal stories are, that provided a lot of activation, if you will. So yeah, there's still family, and we have these instances where we have soul family. It's not about the DNA, right?
Uh, it's not about the DNA.
Yeah.
Ah, that feels really good.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
there's no limitations, it's all relational, it's all relational. Yeah. Mm.
you talked about mother gazing. What is mother gazing?
Mhm. So this is part of the practice of the step one that we will work with this. And you get a picture of your mother, one that you really like, where she's looking right at you. It could be any time. Doesn't matter if your mother has transitioned or not. Doesn't matter if you're estranged, whatever the scenario. And then you have a 21 to 41 day protocol of where you look at her and bow before her. So you make an altar and you bow and ask for forgiveness and offer forgiveness. And there's a lot of tears with this, but you stay in that kind of prostration, openness until you truly feel pure forgiveness and love. And then you move on to the mantra protocol. So it's a very powerful practice. And for me, I did the full 41 days because there was so much of a non-mother force in my childhood. And the same with my grandmother, and it goes on and on and on. And that was on both sides for me, the patrilineal and the matrilineal. There was a complete disconnect when it comes to the nuclear family with these, divine roles. And I'm sorry, my cat loves being with us, so I'm going to move her again. She just hit the keyboard. Sorry, everyone.
We didn't notice it, but she was giving us some codes there.
Yeah.
Um, do you mind sharing what that was like? Because we may not even be aware of the mother's mother in our lineage. But as you were sharing and I was tuning into my own heart, I see that it's generational. So what was that like for you, and how is your relationship with your mom now?
Yes.
Did that heal?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, this is the most important, empowering piece that I'd learned through direct experience that I would wish to share with everyone. This is the way to hold divine neutrality and 0 point in our relationships. Because if we're holding on to the emotion and the story of what happened, there's still these fragments of us that are holding on to bitterness or anger or whatever. And we're in that holding, we're actually not allowing that person to become who they really are. We're holding them in a position. So then that's the only thing we can experience with them. So that's why this is so powerful, because we are clearing and allowing them to be a soul and pulling the human out of it, and then we all of a sudden really get to meet them. And we can have great influence just by embracing our own path and staying in that neutral space, staying in that love. Yes, triggers arise, then you go do the mantras again, go do the mother gazing again, and but it all of a sudden shifts everything so that that person can continue with their evolution, at least as far as how you engage with them. And it's wonderful because even on Friday, the 3-3, we had a wonderful connection call with Lisa, Lisa Transcendence Brown and her community. And that night afterwards, I was so excited and I was burning what had come up. I was like so grateful to see some more programming. There's always more to see. Yeah. And so I'm outside with the fire, just moving, and it's raining. And my mom came out and she was sharing this psychologist that she was learning about, who was talking, basically he's saying what we say in a different language, that it's all about unity consciousness. And I was like just in awe. I mean, I was flabbergasted because she's consistently sharing with me. She loves Gabor Mate, so it's like, it's really true. What we do for ourselves, we do for others. And that just sends ripples out into the collectives for everyone to reconnect to Divine Mother within themselves, their own birth lineage, the planet. It's a beautiful system. Yeah.
It really illustrates the importance of that, loving your own mother. Truly, we tend to bypass our mothers, saying, oh, my mom wasn't awake yet, or not there for me. But this practice, wow, I believe that it is vital. It is vital. And I'm gonna practice that. I'm gonna do that. And I know others are gonna do it as well. And this is where we can teach others in our family. Like I will teach my son, I will share with my son to do that for his mom. And even if he doesn't have a photo of her, he knows her heart. He can feel the heart and sense the heart. And so that practice can be continued in that way. All right, a lot of healing there I can sense, and a lot of, again, bringing it into neutrality is the key. Here's a question from Alicia. What if you live with your mother and you are feeling overwhelmed by her energy in your field all of the time, even though you love her, of course, and have compassion for her, but it's just too much at times?
I understand. I live with my mother too. It means we need to give ourselves more, take time away, fill your cup so that it runneth over and nothing comes in. Anytime we're feeling too much of the other, it's like, well, it's a mirror, give it to yourself. So take some time. And yes, it's hard when we're in close confines, but you just make space somehow, whether you go outside and enjoy some time, even going out front on the porch and getting some breath in the fresh air, listening into when you need space. So a theme that's come up lately is not letting others' needs be more important than our own. We want to have a common ground. So our needs are important and the others' needs are important. And so we're teaching people. So by leading, by way showing, by honoring ourselves, we are indirectly showing others how to do the same for themselves. So taking that self-care. Oftentimes our mothers don't know about self-care. Like my mom is just now getting comfortable with taking baths for herself. This is how far removed they are from their self-worth, from their self-love. They are terrified of making a mistake. This is the depth of the programming. So this is why this is so powerful and magical, because, it's the opportunity to really become Christed, and that's why we signed up to have nuclear families like this, because it is the most challenging for the human. It's very exciting. Thank you. That's a great question.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Alicia. And we hope that's helpful. We've heard from spiritual teachers that we ascend through relationships.
Yeah.
Through the relationships where we're able to stay neutral in all of it and stay heart-centered in all of it.
And if you get triggered, you pull away. That's normal. If you get triggered, you pull away, go out and walk on Gaia, do the candle, burn, nice burn. Acknowledge where the child is feeling whatever that reactivity is. And do some practices, some energy practices, and then you're back online. So you see how we have to pull away and give ourselves what we need. And this whole process is about reparenting. Because if we have no more unfulfilled needs from the childhood, because we're one with mother and with father inside as the Trinity, then it's a totally different ballgame.
And speaking of the father, for those who have father issues, I know that's just as important. Can we do this same gazing with our fathers, or what do you think there?
Well, this practice from Sri Kaleshwar is all about the mother,
Okay.
because it's all about the womb and connecting to Divine Mother. And, it's very interesting. So it will still affect positively the bloodline and your own self, because you're clearing your womb, whether it's the etheric womb or your literal physical womb, of all of the stuff that was held within from the families. So that's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody. And the mother, the return of the feminine. Here we are, we're in it.
And you could certainly do a father gazing. It's just that this system is not about the father. It's about the mother. But I have a photo of my dad, and I will gaze with it and sometimes communicate with him and let the inner child come out and say things I couldn't say. He's transitioned. So of course, absolutely, you want to do that. But this system is all about Divine Mother.
Okay. Yes, very, very healing. Absolutely. Let's go to Linda. Linda, you can unmute yourself, sweet one, and ask your question. Linda, you can unmute yourself if you are still with us and available. If not, we'll continue and we'll let you come back and talk with us when you are ready. Okay. So, Merissa, is there anything else you'd like to do with us today? Is there a meditation or an activation, anything about the womb more than we've spoken of right now?
Yes, actually, I'm very excited. If we're ready, does that feel like the moment?
This feels, thank
Oh,
you.
great. Okay, great. So again, I'm going to invite everyone to close their eyes, to enter within. And we're going to continue with this balancing breath. So in through the nose and out through softly parted lips. And I'm going to explain why we do this. So continuing to breathe in through the nose, exhaling out through softly parted lips. What this does is balance the elements within. So when we inhale in through the nose, that's Heavenly Father, that's sacred masculine, fire, yang. When we exhale out through softly parted lips, that's Divine Mother, that's waters, the yin. So as we engage this breath, we're already putting ourselves in the center of the infinity loop, kind of in that observer awareness. So just taking that in. And continuing with this breath, I invite you to take your consciousness and your inner gaze a few inches below the belly button. And we call forth, we invite the sacred Nada Bindu to show itself. And you'll see a diamond seed of light, perhaps like the size of a grain of rice. And as we inhale and exhale, seeing this beautiful diamond seed of light starting to grow, to bloom into an orb. And again, this is a beautiful kind of diamond fractal light, diamond shining light of the Christ. And this orb continues to grow larger and larger until it encompasses our entire body. And just feeling the sensations of being in this. And we invite you to open your heart, and more will download with you throughout the day. But the notion, the idea of being a cell in the celestial body, feeling yourself as the drop and the ocean, feeling yourself in your body connected to Divine Mother and to Gaia, the gifts of incarnation, being in the physical, having a temple to house your soul, to be here on this planet and engage. And you may feel Divine Mother at your back, almost like this presence. And in truth, this presence has been with us the whole time. We just didn't know yet how to connect. And so the invitation now is to surrender any feelings of abandonment or being alone. And to just breathe into that. And to continue to bring your focus to the orb that you are within. And breathing. And inviting you to imagine that this is an installation now in your memory banks, in your DNA, in your light body. This is a light activation installation, a permanent part now. All you have to do is remember and connect in. And it's really amazing because it's almost like being in utero again, but in full form now. And feeling that connection. And just remembering the connection is real. It has always been here. We just didn't know. And there was a lot of programming and amnesia to support us not knowing, which is why we set it up, because we'd be bored, because everyone's very brilliant. We would be bored if we didn't have challenges. And just inviting you to open your eyes when you're ready. And again, keeping the gaze soft, like you're taking the room into you, instead of projecting through the eyes to take in. Letting it come, like your eyeballs are cups, and the information, the room is coming in. Starting to activate that receptive quality of divine feminine. Good job, everybody.
Good job. It feels like just to bathe in this and not let our words disturb it, to stay very present with this. It feels beautiful and diamond and supportive, and it's always been here.
Yeah,
That is connection.
yes. And if we could start to remember that we are swimming in an ocean, a plasma ocean, actually, all the time. And there's this, there's this emanation coming up from Gaia, the energy flowing up from her. It's usually around our waist, around our genitals. So there's this energy coming up from Gaia nourishing us, and then there's this energy coming down from source. So we're in this ocean all the time, of prana, of life force, of chi, and we're just becoming resensitized to that.
Oh, we are becoming resensitized to it, and that's why it feels like home. And
Yeah.
it's there for us. We don't have to force it. We just have to sense it, right? Just sense it and connect to it. That's the world that I see. I see a world where everyone gets this. And that's why we're so grateful for people watching and listening to programs like this, because each and every one of us is a new earth leader, ready to share in all ways. Beautiful. I'm going to go back to Alicia, who lives with her mother, feeling overwhelmed by her energy. She was saying as well, I guess I meant specifically with the picture gazing. It feels challenging since I'm literally gazing at her face all the time.
Yes, of course.
That's the healing aspect, isn't it? That's where a lot of healing can come from. And the importance is that I'd like to share is that we can do this now while our mother is still on the planet, because there'll be a time when you can do it after your mother is gone. Would you rather do it now or later? And so that's deep. Those are deep layers coming up as well. Very deep with compassion and forgiveness.
And it's always wanting to go deeper. We want to data mine deeper than, okay, it's challenging. Okay, great. What's beyond that? What's beyond that one? Right? What is it? What story is it? What aspect of our beingness? It's usually us at different ages in our childhood that has a memory that we're just really struggling to let go of, the righteous anger, whatever. It's all resistance to being whole or holy. So we don't want to stop at where we are challenged. We say, okay, great. What is the challenge? Keep going. This is the seeker mode coming in. We don't stop until we're done. And that's why consciousness and the whole ascension journey can be exhausting and full time, right? I won't deny that, because we live it. But the rewards are so great. It's just magnificent what starts to happen. We start to glow. There's just so much that happens as we continue to clarify ourselves in loving service.
Beautiful. Thank you. Rosemary sends, find a photo where your mother was happy and her real self.
Yes, absolutely. One that feels good. That's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Just this concept that we're discussing just warms my heart so much. It really does. It opens the heart so much. And we are in that womb, the holy womb chakra. Yeah. All right. So I want to put out to our beautiful audience, if you have a question for Merissa, please, in our Zoom audience, you can raise your hands, or of course, the Q&A box is there for you. Merissa works with people. She does one-on-one sessions. And one of the beautiful things that we have coming up is a masterclass, as Merissa mentioned. But the masterclass is also included if you choose to have a personal session with her. I'm going to put the special offer in the Zoom link and also in our description box of wherever you're watching or listening to this video. And I want you, Merissa, to share more if you've got any other comments about personal sessions and about the course coming up.
Oh, great. So I took some notes. So the idea behind the session is I realized, this is deep work. So the idea is, if you want to do that package, then there's the option to do a one-on-one with me where we can really go deep into where things are challenging or whatever's arising, right? So that being said, I will dive more into what this work affords us. The opportunity to write our own mythos, because we are in such a powerful rewrite phase. So when we start to embody, witness, work towards the diamond soul that we truly are, there's just so much clarity that happens. It's such a beautiful way to rewrite. This is the opportunity to evolve all human experiences into divinity. So this is where we just open our heart so wide and we just bring it all in. Just like Mother Mary, how she holds us. All is welcome. All is perfect. All is sacred. The reminder that Divine Mother has always been here, whether we were conscious of her or not. Mother brings us forth from soul seed to embodied in form, our birth mother. And then there are other ways of Divine Mother, Mother Earth. So a lot of these things are so right under our nose, that as we're awakening, we're like, oh my gosh, I was there the whole time, yay, So for instance, we eat and drink of Mother all the time. All the resources that come from Gaia, all of our food, all of our water, all of the beauty that we take in, flowers, the animal realms, the elemental realms, just nonstop wonder and beauty and the opportunity to tune into the crystalline, what's real versus artificial, creation. Embracing the divinity in our humanity, all which transpired to get us here in the now. And that's really important for us. Like when we have a lot of stories and a lot of emotion held in the separation of like, well, they did this to me, they did that, all of that. That's all important to see and feel and honor it. And then also you want to match that energy with the expanded perspective, which is, and then what? And how it led to now. So much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much more love and compassion. How would we know what love was if we knew what it was not? So I always like to play. Let's go both ends, right? Let's go both ends, ping pong, and go in the middle again, kind of to play with our psychology too. Forgiveness creates our unified experience to feel this oneness. And so the mother gazing is the first master key, as there are many layers to unifying with cosmic mother. So micro, macro, how it's all connected. Very important to share. This blew my mind when I saw this the other day. This week is the 3-year anniversary of the last week of our lives when things were normal. That's massive, you guys. 3 years ago, everything was business as usual. And then bam, right? The quickening, powerful. Today also is the full moon in Virgo, and that Virgo energy, self-care, really starting to commit to our self-care, our preciousness, our body's needs, our emotional needs. And Virgo is also representative of the Vestal priestess, the keepers of the flame, all this beautiful holy woman energy. So it makes sense, Mother Mary and all of this with the holy womb chakra. And also today, I love this. I always have to share this. I picked the only date that we've got, right, Lauren? I picked the only date on the calendar that we have, whether it's the Mastery Empowerment course or this today. And then as we get closer, I'm like, holy moly, all this like cosmic stuff's happening. That's so cool. So the divine sets it all up. We just go along, So today.
I love it because we don't plan it. We
No,
don't plan it. Yeah.
no. It's so fun, and then it creates more depth for us to serve. It's like, oh, thank you, it's so cool. So Saturn going into Pisces today, this is huge. Saturn is all about structure and discipline, focusing our energy to embody and self-actualize our sovereignty or our divinity. So everything is supporting us to create the structures and the systems in our reality to bring in the most light we've ever known. And it's going to continue, and many of us are having these atomic light body activations right now. It's so powerful, all this activity going on, the solar stuff, and then we have these major cosmic songs, and we're all part of the celestial song of as the planets move and what they have to share with us to support our ascension process. So it's like ascension, inscension, transcension, like translation, it's all converging right now, which is why it feels like so much. And many of us, our nervous systems are like, oh my goodness, right? So you want to ground it in. But those were the notes I just wanted to make sure that I shared, because I thought, wow, this is just so awesome. I couldn't be more thankful. And thank you, Loren.
Well, we're looking forward to that class. Everything that you do is very sacred, and you create very sacred containers for the activations and the healing and the clearing. Absolutely a wonderful course. Again, that's here in the link that you can check it out. It's really beautiful and very affordable and very precious. Thank you. Thank you. A couple of questions coming in.
Great.
Veronica, she asks, my mother's mother died when she was 2. Can the healing still happen?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The only way this couldn't work is if we didn't do it. I'll just say that. Because I know our mind goes to, oh God, what about this, that? You are one with it. You are it. All you have to do is do it. Do the thing, get the power, do the thing, get the reward, right? Go through it, the initiation. So yes, of course.
Let's do it. Yeah, just do it. We have another question. Does the picture need to be of me and my mom, or just my mom?
Just your mom. Just your mom. Yeah.
I can sense the healing in that. And again, the deep, deep healing. Because again, this society, this earth, this programming, this period of time has made us disregard the mother in such a deep way. And right now on Zoom, there's 33 people.
Oh, great.
Awesome. I love that code right there. Yeah. And it's 3:03 Eastern time right now.
Nice.
Cool. Okay. Merissa, is there anything you'd like to share more about your ancestral clearing? When you did this with your mom, how did you recognize the ancestral issues that came up? Was that just intuition that came in?
It was childhood experiences.
Uh-huh.
It was witnessing the schism and misogyny firsthand. It was my own experience of not wanting to be a woman because it didn't resonate with me what I was seeing, and I didn't want to be what I was seeing. So it's a huge reclamation of what the divine feminine really is. Definitely not anything society is saying.
Right.
Definitely not anything participating in domination or manipulation kind of energies, right? In my family, we also had sexual abuse. So we had everything. We had illness, we had addiction, we had sexual abuse, we had everything, because that's what we came to clear and to stick up for, to stand up against, or not against, but to stand up for innocence and to honor the pain that creates such things, the nature of duality, the nature of a schism, of the sacred, of the preciousness of the family, of all people, all beings. Yeah, because this is thousands of years, that we've been in this space.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. The heavy lifting is easy with love of the mother, with unity of the mother. Absolutely.
And that's the truth. That's the real truth, not the programming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just rewiring the brain slowly. Each consistent effort, we are rewriting our neurology to hold the truths of unity consciousness versus the stories or whatever, anything other than unity. Yeah. And it's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to call on Lucia. Lucia, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Lucia.
So, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Merissa. Lovely to see you again. Yeah, hi. I have a bit of crazy, not crazy. This is my story. It's my life. My dad died when I was 2, and my mom died when I was 9. And I had a kind of a crazy growing up.
Mm.
And I always learned to be strong, to push away all the feelings.
Mhm.
And somehow there was nobody who was teaching to be feminine.
Yes.
And I'd done quite some work, but somehow I noticed that every time there's this abandonment and um, pushing away deeper layers, because they're like infinite layers coming up.
Yes.
But what is especially missing is the example of the divine feminine, how to be, because we're talking a lot about love, but often we don't know what it is actually. So it's there. It feels like there's some holes, and I'm trying to connect. Yeah, actually, that's the thing. Sometimes I just don't know what it is. There's a deep knowing inside,
Yes.
but not an exact knowing what it is. And well, I'm just gonna do. I'm going with you on the course, definitely.
Right.
And I think you are one of the few people who I can really drop my whole story into their
Yeah.
lap.
Beautiful. Well, I love what you've shared, and I'd love to share my own experience with this because this may provide assistance. When we don't have the right examples, the aligned examples of what our parents, what divine mother and divine father, which now we've got to understand as children, these people created us. So we look at them already inherently with such reverence and awe as creator gods because they did create us. Now, then their
Mhm.
humanness comes in, or these experiences come in, or, that are not that divine love, which we know is real. So for me, the only way I could bridge that gap and allow my parents to become the holy parents, because in truth, they were doing exactly what we all agreed to do,
Mhm.
to really expand. I worked with Mary and Yeshua as my parents, and I created heavenly parents with the qualities that I felt aligned with. Yeah, this is what a real mother and a real father, this is what that love feels like. And it is divine love, because our parents and all the lineages that were separated off from source they did not have that experience. So they were not able to emulate and to give that to us. So this is where the reparenting of this is crucial. And that we have Heavenly Father and Cosmic Mother, whatever deities or spirits, they're archetypal forces. So sometimes mythology can support us with this. It's really finding what you're like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted it to feel like. And that's why Mother Mary is so crucial in this, because of this powerful divine love, that when we invite her presence and feel that being held like we've never been held, with such a powerful unconditional love that it breaks us open. And like you, I had to be strong too. So I prided myself on not feeling anything and being like a machine. And I was so strong physically, I was so strong, mentally and emotionally, nothing could get inside of me, right? And so you see how deeply we are removing that out, pulling that out
I
of the,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, I do know. And it's also interesting because when you talk about Mother Mary, I also notice again the Catholic Church
Mhm.
coming in, and that
Right.
there's still a residue of what they try to teach me. And I always felt um, like it wasn't right, but there
Yes.
I also felt it's like the two streams inside of me, because I knew that there was something that I felt connected to, but I also felt resistance at the same time, and it still is. And it's sometimes it's confusing of
That's
what
wonderful.
is what.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you see how your innate connection to source intelligence, that's the resisting part that's letting you know, like, some of this is distorted. Some of this isn't actually the real story of who Mary is, because it
Mhm.
was all relayed through the people who were in control at the time, who were male. So there's some misogyny in there, right? So for us, we're going beyond the Catholic Church and all of the institutionalized or systemized codes that were used, that were distorted teachings of the sacred feminine. We're going above and beyond that into the ascended master realm. So we connect with her directly. So this is powerful for you because it's supporting you in rewriting, any of the stuff that was more of the stuff that did not feel true. But I would also encourage you to explore your heritage, and are there divine mothers in your heritage, in your culture, that you can connect to on a more visceral level, like really feeling it in your bones, in your DNA. So that's another way, is exploring the mythology and the spiritual stories of all of our indigenous and pagan roots. Because when we go really back, right, we all have connections to Gaia before this latest series that we're in that is now ending. So that's also very powerful.
I did actually. It's
Okay.
because I went back like five layers back, and my parents were from Suriname, and but my great grandmother, she came from Scotland, and she was in a clan, and she wanted to bring out knowledge, and the men in the clan didn't want that, so they banned her. So she fled to Suriname, one of the colonies, and she lived there alone in the bush as a midwife.
Wow.
And
Wow.
because she had so much knowledge, she could survive. And her daughter, my grandmother, she didn't want to have anything to do with it. So there was a gap between them. And then my mother came, and she became a teacher and really formed herself to the Dutch values. And then I came, and I'm a very creative person, and looking for truth. And then my daughter, she is the end of the line at the moment, and she's such a sensitive soul, and I knew she came to bring codes here on earth. But there's so much, and then I'm still learning, like, okay, I see many ways how it's not.
Yes.
And I'm looking, okay, how can we manifest all this divine feminine energy in a way that it is?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning, and I also I'm learned also to love the process, but I sometimes it's just a lot.
Absolutely. And so then that's when we pull in our power of focus and realign with, okay, I've been looking at what is not. So this is where the mastery comes in, and we're in the 7 year of like, okay, use your tools, like put them into practice now, and you pull your attention into a cup, an open cup. Show me what is it? Give me some words, show me imagery, give me some feeling. What is it? I know what it is not. What is it? And you have to be empty for that. Yeah. And that's where being a chalice comes in, to receive the information, because it's all here in the Akash. It's just where are we putting our focus? If we're focusing on not it, well, then we're focusing on not it. We cannot get to it. We must be open and ask for it to come.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense?
Yeah,
You
it
see
does.
how
Definitely.
our minds are. Our minds are like, oh, so that's why I say, like, being human is really, it's a it's quite a challenge for us,
It is.
We'll get pulled. The magnetics of where we have stories and trauma will pull us to what we're, trying to, to distance ourselves from, right? And so you want to try to take it all in, see it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
You're very welcome.
so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucia. All right, a couple more questions here. Linda, she's not going to unmute herself, but we have her question in a chat. And she says, perhaps my guides pressed that, raising her hand. My physical body seems to be overwhelmed, and physical issues have popped up, mainly in the womb area. I am not a mother, but have spent my life mothering, if that brings anything to you. I also have been opening up on so many levels and know I had a lot to release there. Guess I'm looking for a bit of guidance. My nervous system keeps challenging me as well. Hope this makes sense.
Oh, yes, sister. It all makes sense.
And she says, Mother Mary keeps coming to me over and over again.
Oh, that's great. Wonderful to cultivate that relationship. So the first piece that I'll share is, as women, as little girls, there was no one as we're growing up to say, hey, you have a galaxy in your body that you are unconsciously storing every fear, wish, hope, concern, anything that you've ever had, and your entire family and your community and the entire collectives of the earth. Every headline you've ever read, we have put the energy of like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen, or oh, I hope this happens. Unknowingly, this is how vast the womb is and this technology is. We store all of that because we didn't know. Oh, we've got this massive stargate to create with, whether it's a human life, a book, like showing up for others, just the healing energy, healing services, whatever. So it's releasing all of that. It's clearing all of that. And so I'd love to offer, this is an activation I'll do with people in session, if you want to close your eyes and to go into the womb space in your body. And I want you to imagine your favorite scene, like whether it's, looking, whether you're at the beach and the horizon is infinite, or the plains of the Serengeti, whatever, the Grand Canyon. I want you to take yourself to your favorite place to watch the sunrise right now. And you're in that place inside of your womb. And for men, this would be the etheric umbilical connection of the womb that you experienced in utero. And I invite you to see the sun just starting, that you see just the tiniest sliver of gold rising on the horizon, and a few rays of golden light plasma. And allowing those golden rays to start to sweep through your womb, clearing out any cloudiness or any darkness. And watching, breathing as you watch the sun continue to rise, continue to rise, continue to rise until it's at its full peak, or the zenith, which is like, 12 p.m. And just seeing your womb space or your birth space where you were as a baby in utero, seeing it just filled with gold light, just swirling. So it's like the sun has risen and it's just blasting everything, overpowering just this beautiful golden light. And allowing that to clear. And then all of a sudden you see that this part of you is this beautiful galactic, massive, infinite expanse of pure potential, pure creativity, pure energy to pull from. And Sri Kaleshwar in his teachings, he would talk about sucking the siddhis, the ancient yogic powers, our superhuman abilities, our energy, our healing potential, our ability to see, all of our gifts, sucking this connection with Divine Mother, with the cosmic center, galactic center, Grand Central Sun. And this will start to support many levels, because we're holding too much for the nervous system to be able to handle. The nervous system in the physical body needs all of the energy that it can hold just for the light body upgrades. Right? Yeah. So work with the sun, the sunrise, but hopefully that will support. And that will continue to unfold, work with that, continue to work with that over time. But that should do it. That should clear it out.
Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And our last question, this is from Susan. Susan says, I was told that I'm an old soul, but my parents were not. And the tools I was given can't help me. How do I find the tools I need to have a healthy life? And I was also told my father abused my spirituality when I was 6. I am now 66 and struggling.
It's powerful. 66, it's diamond light code. This powerful year, and the year of the 7. So the invitation there is to take your power back from when anyone told you anything. You do not have to agree with anyone about anything. And just let that one resonate through. And I'll share a very powerful activation I received last summer. I was in the forest. So when I'm going through really gnarly programming, I'll go and I call it a walk and talk, where I go out and I walk out in nature and I'm walking and I'm talking and I'm, wherever I need to like vent. And then I listen, to Gaia and guidance. And I was in the middle of the forest, all these mosses, and I heard so loudly, the guides were like, everything outside of you is a lie. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, it just felt like the most cataclysmic. It was like an earthquake of revelation through my being. They were like, if it didn't come from your divine source spark, your connection within, it's a lie. So take all your power back. And I was like, whoa, because they really wanted me to stop engaging in the programming and to pull my power back from victimization, any of that. Like the father wound for me was massive, just a massive one. So again, anything outside telling us who we are, what our story is, no, it's your connection, it's your empowerment, it's your sovereignty. So that's why we say the opportunity to write our own mythos as the divine human. It's powerful, right? So then when we endeavor to do that, it can pull up all the other things of where we don't feel worthy, or, for me, the latest one is feeling worthy of being with God all the time. It's like, oh no, that's a huge one for me right now. That's why Lisa helped me to uncover that one on Friday. It's like, you're continuing to persecute yourself. And I was just like, oh my God, it was huge. It was huge. And I realized, yeah, self-punishment has been a huge one my whole life. So there's always more layers, right? So you want to see that. It's, oh my gosh, thank goodness I'm seeing this. I know it's not true. As soon as we see it, we can dissolve it. It's just taking our power from it and allowing ourselves to dissolve it by choosing what's true now. And we can do that in every moment, in every breath. Yeah. I know the self-hate one very well, because I internalized, my father's, hatred, and right. That's what we're here to do. We take it all in. Say, no, I don't think so. Pull this, clarifying, right? And throw it on the fire. Write down what's coming up for you on little scraps of paper and have your fire and have a burn ceremony. I release this, I release this, I release this. I call in this. Do some ritual. We got full moon today. Yeah, and not worthy of love. Now that's only humans who think that, right? So just know we have a lot of millennia of that belief system. So have compassion and know it's not true. And I was reading the most powerful thing. Yeah, burn, baby, burn. I love that, Susan. Thank you so much. I opened A Course in Miracles last night because I like to sometimes just let it fall open as information. And it was all about forgiveness. And it was saying how, Source has no need to forgive us because there's nothing to forgive. That's all a human creation. It's all how much we're putting into the story. So that's another big one. Be like, whoa, just showing us how deeply we thought that we were separate, which is all part of it. So we could really build a strong connection again. Yeah. Thank you for your beautiful questions, everyone. This is how we can go really expand the information. So I love it.
Yes, it's really wonderful and it feels so good. And we hope everyone has a easy and graceful time as we integrate this wisdom that was shared today by Merissa. I'll say one more time, Merissa, you give us hope for the future as someone of your beingness steps forward and shares this wisdom with all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. Your light is bright and it is important to our planet. And we hope that you can feel your service roles in all of it, in every step you take. So, Merissa, as we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment for final thoughts.
What I'm hearing is to go on with what you were saying, Loren, is your voice matters. Your energy is larger than you could even comprehend. I'm getting emotional. Every beat of your heart is sending the ripples out into the collective. So it's your beingness. So gift yourself the clarity. Do the work. This is the year for it. We have all the support. And if you don't feel the support, call it in. Say, guys, I'm not feeling connected. I'm not feeling support. Show me. Call it in. Surrender where you don't feel it. Call in to feel it. You will. Even if it's every morning you got to do this, even if some days it's every couple hours, you're like, oh God, I got triggered again. I was in heaven and then my heart closed and now I'm in hell again. That's okay. It's part of it. We're in the quickening. So there could be times, you know, where you're like, you feel like you're just getting bop, bop, bop with programming, you know, it happens to all of us. So just make it fun. Yeah. And thank you all so much for your beautiful energy. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
roll with it. Roll with the turbulent times. Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Always remember your love and your light. And thank you. What a bright light, Merissa, and what a bright light everyone is here. We thank you, thank you, thank you. And we send you our great love. And we send this love to the Divine Mother. Thank you, Merissa.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.